Alright guys, so Signal King here bringing you guys another gem. Now make sure you guys pay attention today because today you guys are going to learn when to buy and sell only using order blocks. No indicators, nothing but pure price action. And you guys are going to see how clear you guys see the market from now on. So let's get right into it. Alright, so what is an order block? An order block by definition is the previous contrary candle before a big push, right? So for example, we have something like this. The previous contrary candle, notice how this is a bearish push. The previous bullish candle that created the push is going to be the area of supply. So it'd be somewhere like around here. I made it a little bit bigger, it'd be something like this. So the last bullish candle before the bearish push, that is your true area of supply. Now, same thing reverse, right? If you're looking for areas of demand, if you have a bullish push, something like this, the last previous contrary candle before the push is your area of demand. So if you have a bullish push, it's going to be the last bearish candle as your area of demand, and you're going to see how price pulls back into this area and continues to move. So simple terms, area of supply, how to find the correct order block. So the market moves by order blocks, right? Which is supply and demand. And the true definition as simple terms is the previous contrary candle before the push. Now let's delete this and let's see it raw in the market, right? So this is just random. I'm literally just going to draw random order blocks so you guys can see how precise they are and how true this works. So right now I'm on M15, right? And the first thing that catches my eye, this is right here. Let's actually delete this replay mode. So the first thing that catches my eye right here is, notice this push right here to the downside, right? Price pulls back. Notice this right here, this area right here. Let's actually break it down right here. This previous contrary candle before this push to the downside, notice how price, we mark it like that. This bullish candle, notice how I'm marking a bullish candle for a bearish push because it's the previous contrary candle before the push. Now notice how price pretty much taps this exact area, and that is where the volume continues to come from, right? So the previous contrary candle before the push, that is your true area of supply. That is where you sell from, right? You want to sell from an area of supply, and this is how you identify the area of supply. Now, let's keep breaking it down. You guys can see how precise this is. Now, notice this next push, right? Notice this previous contrary candle right here. Price pulled back into this area right here, this new M15. And then you can see the same thing, that's where the volume is coming in from. So price is just creating areas of supply. And you guys can see how it's the previous contrary candle. Now, the sauce and the trick, literally the key thing for this, guys, is that it has to be the previous contrary candle before the push. And it cannot be touched. Now, what do I mean by touch? Notice how this is the previous contrary candle by definition before the push, but this candle is touched right here. Notice how this is where the volume comes in from, and price is not touched. It's touched when price pulls back into it to use it. So same thing here. Notice this previous contrary candle that is not touched. This is a previous contrary candle here, but this is touched right here. This is the actual previous contrary candle that creates a push that is not touched. You can see how price touches it, and that's where the volume comes in from, right? So let's just do some random examples on H4. You guys can see how literally how you find and how you mark an order block, which is supply and demand, is the same exact rules for all time frames. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm gonna give you guys a little saying that goes, price knows no time. Now, what do I mean by this is that price knows no time, meaning that it doesn't matter what time frame, the same rules apply for each time frame. So the same way that we drew supply on M15, M1, M5 is the same way we're going to draw supply and demand on the higher time frames like the weekly, daily, H4, the previous contrary candle before the push. The same rules apply. Now, obviously, when you're on a higher time frame, you're looking at higher time frame things like market direction and things, but so the areas of supply and demand are going to be stronger. But it's still the same rules apply. So for example, let's break this down right here, the actual like big push and something a little bit more complex so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So notice this big push to the upside, right? This big push right here. Let's actually break it down a little bit more. So check this out. I'm gonna show you guys how to truly find supply and demand. So I showed you guys supply, now I'm gonna give you guys an example of demand. So notice this big push to the upside on H4, right? This previous contrary candle that created the push to the upside. The previous contrary candle that is not touched or pulled back into is this area right here, this H4. And then notice how price pulled back into this area to the exact pip, and that is where the volume is coming in from and gave us another push to the upside. Now this is key right here. This is a lot of sauce right here. So check this out. Notice how price created a new push to the upside. And when we did that, we created a new area of demand. But check this out. Notice how this is not the area of demand right here because price pulled back into this area and used it. Same thing here. This is used. Now the true area of demand by here, by definition, is this previous contrary candle right here on H4 that created the push that is not touched or pulled back into this H4 demand right here that created the push. Previous contrary candle that's not touched. This one's touched. Touch, touch, touch. You can see how price pulls back into this area, and that is where the volume comes in from. So these areas are very, very specific. Same thing. Let's go on H1 and draw some areas of supply. So real quick, let's draw, for example, this right here. Check this out. So a rough example, this area right here. You guys are seeing the previous contrary candle before the push. Check it out here. This previous contrary candle before its push, price pulls back into this area, and that is where the volume comes off of. Same thing here. This by definition, this is a true area of supply. Previous contrary candle before the push, that price is not touched. Now let's just, for the heck of it, let's go into Bitcoin so you guys can see how this same rules apply for everything. Right now, if we go to the weekly, check this out. I'm gonna point this out for you guys. Now, what do we have here, right? We have here on the weekly, check this out. I'm gonna drop a lot of heat for you guys. So notice this previous contrary candle right here on the weekly that created this push to the upside that wasn't touched, right? Notice how that is an area of demand, and this is an area of demand right here as well. This previous contrary candle that created the push to the upside, but notice how the actual volume to the upside came from this area down here. So this is the true area of demand, but this isn't also an area of demand right here. So this area of demand that's in between, price uses as a pullback to then continue the move to where the actual move initiated from, because price always fills voids. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but price will always fill the void to where the move started from. So notice previous contrary candle that created the push, price pulled back into this area, and then notice how volume is coming off of this area. And then now we have this area of supply right here, previous contrary candle that created the push. Same thing, this is an area of supply up here, previous contrary candle that created the push to the downside. So you guys are seeing how precise these areas are. So let me see, let's give you guys, let's mark some random examples as well. So let's just go to, let's look up like a random pair. Let's look up GBP, JPY. On the weekly right here, notice, same thing, this previous contrary candle right here, this previous contrary candle that created this huge push to the downside, this area right here, weekly. Notice how price tapped this area on the weekly to the exact pip. Notice how we tapped this area of supply right here. So let me put it like this. Let's actually go to H1, so like this, right here. So check this out. Notice how price tapped this weekly supply and then the volume that came off of that weekly supply right here to the exact pip. Notice, check this out. So we have a pretty much an 800 pip drop. You know what that is? An 800 pip drop from this weekly supply. You guys are seeing how it's the previous contrary candle before the push. Now notice how price literally tapped that area to the exact pip, and that's where the volume comes in from. Now the crazy part is that area of supply was created literally in 2015. So almost literally 10 years ago, that area of supply was created and price touched it right now. And you can see how we got a 1,000 pip move from this area. So you guys are seeing how precise these areas are and how this is a true area of supply and demand. So you guys are now seeing how to buy and sell, finding the true areas of supply and demand in the market. Okay, so you guys are seeing how I just gave you guys the truest form of how to find supply and demand in the market. This is something that a lot of traders, myself included, when I first started trading, spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to find the correct areas of supply and demand. I've paid for endless courses where they teach you wrong stuff, but you guys are seeing how this stuff works and it's proven to work. So I highly suggest, if you want to become a profitable trader, you implement this in your trading, you backtest it, and you see how this works, and you implement it in your strategy. All right, so if you guys appreciate the knowledge that I'm dropping, I just ask for one favor and one small favor only. I have a goal of getting my free Telegram up to 15,000 members. Right now we're almost at 13,000. So if you like this video, if you got any information from this video or any previous videos, do me that favor and make sure you guys click the link below and join the free Telegram, where I also provide daily breakdowns, my daily analysis, and where I'm looking to enter from daily in the market. So value everywhere. Just do me that small favor, guys, and I'll keep providing value every single week. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.